welcome back to the Nourishing Routes channel, where I'll be showing you how to love food, enjoy your body and become your authentic self. In this week's episode, I'm going to be sharing with you the difficulties and struggles, but also enlightenment moments of weight gain in recovery, and specifically recovery from an eating disorder. The reason why I'm doing this is because for once in my life I found it really difficult to recover from anorexia, because I was so clinging on to the identity of being seen as a slim and vulnerable individual, and really I didn't have any sense of who the real Marissa really was. And I know from working with many of you who have eating disorders that it can feel like a really big struggle to break away from something that has been part of your identity for so long. And unfortunately, as a lot of people gain weight in recovery from a restrictive eating disorder, for example, or their body shape changes, that can be really difficult to cope with, because sometimes you might be feeling as though I'm no longer ill anymore or need support anymore because physically I am well. So continuing to eat and gain weight can feel twice as difficult, and I've been in that seat too. I've been in the seat where you actually hate yourself for gaining weight. You feel as though you don't want to continue because your body feels awful, it feels uncomfortable. But what I'd like to say to you is that the whole process of that and going through weight gain, you realise that recovery isn't just about weight gain at all. And in fact, even though you might be at a healthy weight now and currently not view yourself as someone who looks like someone of a typical eating disorder, then it's about your relationship with food. And to hit the nail on the head with that, your relationship with food is how you feel, think and look at food. Do you feel guilt and shame around food still? Are you still caught up in thinking of food as something to restrict, control and make sure that you follow a certain dietary plan rigidly? And if the answer is yes to any of those questions, then your relationship with food still needs to be healed. And that in itself can be quite difficult to process, because when I was gaining weight and I'd gained a healthy amount of weight, alarm bells started to go off. And I thought I no longer deserved to be in recovery or to continue eating all this amount of food because I'm already well. But the truth couldn't be further from the truth, because I was still struggling with a whole distorted mindset around food and my body. And when I looked in the mirror, I still saw a grotesque person looking back at me, not because that was what was physically there, but because I hadn't yet dealt with fully the real thought processes that were going on in my mind. But as I ventured further with weight gain, I began to realise that actually I was going through an enjoyable transformational process. And when I say enjoyable, I don't mean that it was all like fun, because in a way it wasn't, I'm going to be honest there. But it was enjoyable in the sense of I was finding out who the real Marissa really was. I was no longer trying to strive for, being a healthy weight. And I began to start to frame shift my perspective to see that my recovery journey was all about healing myself from the inside out. And also as well on a physical level, let me just tell you this. Even if you have gained a healthy amount of weight from, suffering from anorexia for a number of years, months or however long, that your body has still a lot of physical and emotional healing to go through. It needs to trust itself again. Your organs need to re-nourish themselves from all the nourishment that it's lacked for the last God knows how long. And it also needs to find love with itself again. And that's the most important thing, is for you to feel at one and at love with yourself again, rather than thinking of your recovery journey as a one-step route to just gaining a healthy amount of weight. Because guaranteed, the real reason why your eating disorder started in the first place wasn't because you needed to eat healthy or be a certain weight. It was probably because there was something in your life that felt missing or out of control. So when we go on a journey within ourselves to find out what those missing jigsaw puzzle pieces are and what that hole in our soul really is, then we can start to nourish that and also continue to nourish ourselves physically with food. So let me give you an example of what that meant for me. For me, that meant continuing with my daily eating plan, eating regularly, eating foods like cake, biscuits and sweets because they were still sometimes challenging to my thought processes. Even though I was a healthy weight, I still saw those foods as an opportunity to regain a more positive and loving relationship with food, so I could be liberated from rules and start to live life by my own rules rather than the menagerie ones that I've made up in my head. So, I just said the word menagerie then. I meant imaginary words in my head. So to sum up this video on a final note, I would just like to say that if you're out there trying to gain weight from an eating disorder, or you've already gained a healthy amount of weight or are gaining weight from a previous restrictive eating disorder, then the likelihood is I want you to believe in yourself that the journey needs to continue forward with working on your whole relationship with food and yourself. Don't just look at it as a one-stop shop to, gaining your healthy amount of weight and then stopping eating and then still hating yourself. See it as a way of transforming your inner self, finding who your real identity is, what you love about yourself, what you love about the world, the things that light you up as a person. And simply by that I mean the things that you enjoy, what gives you energy to just feel free in the world and be at your very best. I can guarantee that the real thing that lights you up isn't an obsession around calories, healthy eating, losing weight, or making sure that you stay at a certain weight for so long. I know that it's going to be really difficult to break away from that entrenched eating disorder identity, but it is possible. And if I can do it and the people I've worked with can do it, then I 100% believe, 110% believe that you can do it too. So all this video is just a little snippet of hope for you to continue on that positive journey forwards in your recovery plan, no matter what that is, and ultimately for you to have hope that you deserve to love yourself from the inside out, no matter what weight you may be. So finally, thanks for listening to this video. If you found it helpful, please like it, share it with a friend, or subscribe to the channel. You can also visit my website at www.nourishingroutes.com, and you can also purchase my newly published book, and that's all about developing a positive relationship with food and living more self-compassionately in mind, body and soul. So with that said, I'm going to wish you a great week, and hopefully we can talk about these type of topics very soon. Goodbye.